What is up, beautiful soul? I want to tell you that you are amazing. You are a genius. You are special, important, and you are loved. Today's topic is the secrets of vibration. Secrets of vibration. Why is this important? Well, have you realized that there's nothing physical, literally physical in the universe? If you remember back to what I believe was physics, or maybe perhaps chemistry, we learned that the outermost part of an atom are electrons. And y'all keep me honest in the comments. I haven't touched base, I haven't opened my textbook or nothing like that. But I'm going based off my memory. The outermost part of an atom is the electron. And the charge of an electron is negative. So I remember my science teacher, she was an amazing person. If you're seeing this, then peace, love, and happiness to you. You taught me so well. You've literally gave me the keys to the universe. So what I learned in her class is what I just discussed. The outermost part of an atom is an electron, and it is a negative charge. And she discussed the reason we can't pass through things, I can't push my hand through my hand or go like through a wall, is because of magnetism. So we know that for magnets to attract, we need a positive and a negative. So the reason why we can't walk through walls is because everything is atoms, right? Everything is energy, and that energy is then put a little bit in the physical realm. We can see atoms and electrons and so forth. And that is negative. So this is the reason why I can't go through a wall. It's very simple. So beyond that, I took that, I transmuted it, I'm living through the heart, I'm my greatest self, and I share how to live your greatest life. Well, what has all this journey taught me? That every vibration, and this is something that Bob Proctor talks about and shares, and this is basically what he has lived his life to share. Every vibration in the universe is stacked one on top of the other. What does this mean? That any reality that you want already exists. The secret to vibration, the secret to the law of attraction is being a vibrational match to what you want. Now, that's all very simple, right? We talked as to why we can't just like walk through walls because the outermost part of ourselves is technically a negative energy field and a negative charge, excuse me. And then we see that every vibration is stacked one on top of the other. And the important thing with that is there is no point of demarcation between one vibration and the next or the lesser. Again, every vibration in the universe is stacked one on top of the other, and there is no point of demarcation. What does this mean? There is no point where there's no void. One vibration turns into the next one. If we're looking at the color spectrum, there's not blots of white between every color, right? We see trans this ease of transformation from one color to the other. Vibrations are very similar. There's not just like a space of void and then you like that just doesn't exist. So understanding this was very important to me because it opened my eyes. Wow. So if I already know how to live through the heart to create an elevated emotion or to create 5D consciousness to be conscious 100% of the time, that means whatever I want is just at the other side of becoming conscious and stepping into it. That means that I am now cultivating a seed. Well, what does this mean? What am I saying with this? Let's look at consciousness to understand how conscious we can be. So we go through life and we're not conscious that we can be conscious. Then comes 18, 19, 20, or 17 years old, whatever age it was for you, where you become conscious that you can be conscious. And then we go through a limbo, right? We go through this dance for a long time where should I be conscious or should I keep living life the same way? Just living life through my physical body. Then it's what I call the intermediate phase, where I was living that phase as well, where I would wake up and I would repeat one word, love, love, love. And I would do this until going to sleep. After this phase, after the intermediate phase, comes 100% consciousness. What is consciousness to me? I like to share that with you before I share the fourth and last phase of consciousness. Well, let's look at consciousness in this way. Imagine Imagine a dark forest. You're walking out at night in a dark forest, and you have a flashlight. The flashlight is given to you whenever you become conscious that you can be conscious. So now you're walking through this dark forest, the flashlight is off. Whenever you turn on the flashlight and you point it, that is to resemble, that is a synonym to being conscious. So, how does that translate into our life? Well, the mind is this dark place where we can't see it, it's infinite, it is everything. And your consciousness, to be conscious, would mean to send out a signal, which is translated into that flashlight when we're in that dark forest. Where I put my flashlight is where I direct my attention, is what I can see. That simply is what consciousness is, right? Sending out a signal, turning your light, giving a direction to yourself, to your mind that is infinite. So, what now is ultimate consciousness? What is like the most conscious version that you can be? Well, if the intermediate phase is me repeating one word throughout my whole conscious day, like I used to do, love, 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 then that means 100% consciousness would be to fill in those gaps of time where I'm not speaking, where I'm not conscious, where I'm not saying a word. Would you agree that between every love, there is a lapse of time that I am silent? So that is to say that I am turning on this flashlight every second, right? I turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. But between the moments that the light is on, there is darkness. So to me, I like to think about it very simple in these terms. To be 100% conscious would mean to have my internal systems taking directions, taking instructions from my conscious, from me. That is 100% consciousness. So now, whenever we talk about, the secrets to vibration, Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. Bob Proctor has sufficient information and a million probably YouTube videos discussing that every vibration is stacked one on top of the other, and there is no point of demarcation. The reason that I actually fell into a pit, and this is a pit with a bottom, because whenever you live through the heart, you live in a bottomless pit. But whenever I was living in the paradigm to not think is to best think, and I was listening to Bob Proctor, I was listening to the law of attraction, I thought I was already doing what I had to do. But let me ask you something. Right now, you living in this past life, in the version you're less limited. Are you actually doing something? Of course you're alive, but how much energy does it take for you to be alive? Simply none. If I just sit here with no thought, no conscious, I mean, I'm still alive. But does that equal me doing something? Does that mean that I'm conscious? Simply being conscious that I'm alive is not consciousness. And if you want to call it consciousness, I would have to admit that it's like level 1 of consciousness. Because as long as you're alive, I'd have to surrender to the idea that every person is alive is conscious, but the purpose of life is to be your full-fledged. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Why was I not able to manifest? Why didn't I understand the law of attraction and vibration? Well, simply, I wasn't sending any signals out to the universe. I was only operating through my body, which is my less dense form. That means that my hormones, my thoughts, my emotions are taking instructions from my external world. That's probably why we believe so heavily about an Illuminati, why we believe that we are powerless, why some of us have 100% faith in God, and some of us have 100% faith that there is no God. Basically, what we're saying is, I'm going to surrender my intelligence, my power, to either something beautiful in heaven or something dark in hell, because I just simply don't know that I can take charge of myself, of my thoughts, of my emotions, and my hormones. And I know this sounds very peculiar. Wow, I mean, if you can take charge of your emotions, then like, why are there psychiatric medicine? Well, the simple fact is, we go through cycles in life. And the great thing is, we're in a waking up cycle. We're in the age of Aquarius, the water bearer. So it's this big, large being, right? And he has a bucket of water and he's pouring water. So what does this resemble? The age of Aquarius and when we is the age of integration. What this symbolizes is that's him, that's his body, and this bucket is the consciousness, and that water that we see pouring out is him consciously affecting his energy, and that water is going to then translate and come back, and it's his beautiful life. So the thing is, I didn't understand the law of attraction because I was living very limited. I didn't know that I can create thought. Well, I did. I just had the fear that if I did, I wouldn't manifest. I didn't know that I can create my conscious sensation, my emotional state. And now that I'm doing this, I realize the end result of every interaction with our external world is an emotion. So I realized that the foundation, the basis of human life is chemical. After having realized these two things, I stopped and I thought, well, what's the end result of me having $1 million? Or me having the partner that I want, the dream job, the cars, and so forth? Well, I was like, so that's going to make me happy. That has to create chemicals inside of my body. So what I realized is that me making myself feel right now how that future scenario is going to make me feel, I am a vibrational match to the reality that I want. I hope this information has been helpful. I hope it's helped you break down this web of the mind and what this universe is in simple ways, in the most simple way possible. This is the best way that I've learned to understand life and have been able to manifest and create the life of my dreams. I hope it helps you along your journey. I invite you to email me, reach out to me in my social medias. I've created a family where I share how to live through the heart to create an elevated emotion, and I'd love for you to have your own personal experience with this art. And also, I share with you that I'd love to hear your comments on this topic, on what is the law of vibration, what are vibrations, and also share with me what topics you'd like for me to cover in the future. I wait to see you in the side of light. Goodbye.